Jodi Ewart Shadoff was honest when she finally lifted the trophy at the LPGA Mediheal Championship after more than a decade of playing on the LPGA without a win, saying that she didn't know if this moment would ever come. But it did, and we couldn't be more proud. We're here to give you all the details of this spectacular win. Stay tuned to find out more. To begin with, let's see what went down. The 34-year-old from North Yorkshire, England, outlasted a trio of major champions and a recent tour winner with a final round 71 to win by one shot over Japan's Yuka Saso. Georgia Hall, Danielle Kang, and Paula Reto were tied for third place, another shot back. Ewart Shadoff began touring in 2011 after graduating from Q School. Although she's been awaiting her victory, her career hasn't been without highlights. She has 3 Solheim Cup appearances for Europe and finished second at the AIG Women's British Open in 2017. But after 2 winless seasons, a back injury, and a particularly poor season in 2021, where she played 19 events and missed 11 cuts, it's not surprising that Ewart Shadoff wasn't sure she'd ever be an LPGA winner. Apparently, there were times last year when she didn't think she'd be playing this year, so it's just really awesome that the woman didn't give up on herself. She's now the 3rd wire-to-wire winner on tour this season, joining Lydia Ko and In-Ji Chun. Ewart Shadoff, who was competing in her 246th LPGA event, began the final round with a 4-shot lead at the Saticoy Club in Somis, California, but it was gone by the turn. In fact, instead of being ahead, she was 1 shot behind Reto, who had shot 4 under. Ewart explained that she just tried to take each shot as it came and to be patient. Apparently, she did not know what was going to happen, so of course she simply tried to stay within herself and hit as good a shots as she could while remaining present. The hustle paid off. Coming up, let's look at some key moments from the match. Reto's hot round cooled late in the back 9 when she bogeyed the 16th and 17th holes. Pressure came from a new group ahead, as Saso, who played the last 5 holes in 4 under par, forced Ewart Shadoff to play the final 5 holes in 1 under par, and she did just that, making a birdie on the par 5 14th hole and then parring the next 4 holes. The most difficult of the final 4 came at the very end, when Ewart Shadoff admitted that her 1-footer for the win felt a little longer than it appeared. A few key changes to Ewart Shadoff's game have helped her get to this point. With her back injuries, she's worked on changing her hip rotation to relieve some of the pressure on her lower back. Ewart's back is no longer in pain, and she's hitting the ball farther. She hasn't lost accuracy despite the increase in distance. She only missed 3 fairways during 4 rounds at the Saticoy Club. Outside of this win, this season has included 2 other top 10 finishes, a far cry from the missed cuts of the previous season. Shadoff's figured something out, and the proof is in the results. She explained that she had discovered adversity and can play through her nerves. Now, speaking of all that this great woman has achieved, here's a look at where it all began. In 2008, Ewart Shadoff was a member of the Great Britain and Ireland Curtis Cup team, which was defeated by the United States. She's also a 2-time English women's stroke play champion, having triumphed in 2008 and 2009. The 34-year-old made her professional debut in 2010 on the Futures Tour. In 2011, she earned a spot on the LPGA Tour. Her best season to date was 2013, when she tied for 7th in the Kraft Nabisco Championship and 4th in the U.S. Women's Open. What's more, her greatest result to date is a 2nd place finish at the also 2017 Women's British Open. She won the final qualifying tournament in 2012 to earn a spot on the Ladies European Tour, aka the LET. Following the conclusion of the 2013 Women's British Open, Liselott Neumann named her one of 4 captain picks to the 2013 European Solheim Cup team for the matches in Colorado. In 2017, she finished 4th in the Let Solheim Cup, qualifying her for the 2017 European Solheim Cup team, which competed in Des Moines, Iowa. Unlike many of her competitors, she used an anchored putter until the R&A banned it. After 246 starts, Shadoff won her first LPGA Tour event at the 2022 LPGA Mediheal Championship. Now, with all the wins and highlights, there remains one question. Can the English winning streak continue after Jodi Ewart Shadoff and Charlie Hull's victories? Let's look at the highlights and find out together. English LPGA Tour winners appear to be like the adage about London buses. You wait for ages for one only to have 2 arrive at the same time. When Georgia Hall and Mel Reid won consecutive events on the LPGA Tour during the 2020 season, it was difficult to imagine that it would take another 2 years for another English player to win on the LPGA Tour. England's top female golfers may have had success on American soil during that time, most notably during Europe's Solheim Cup title defense in Ohio last September, but no player had been able to celebrate an individual glory until Charlie Hull broke the drought at the ascendant LPGA. Hull's 1-shot victory in Texas ended a 6-year streak of near misses on the LPGA Tour, dating back to her breakthrough triumph at the 2016 CME Group Tour Championship. Championship, while Jodi Ewart Shadoff won back-to-back English titles the following week. After being plagued by injury and inconsistency in recent seasons, Shadoff's wire-to-wire victory in the LPGA Mediheal Championship came in her 246th start on the LPGA Tour, with the 34-year-old admitting that she questioned whether a victory would ever come. She also mentioned how grateful she was to everyone who stood by her. Let's learn a little bit more about this. A final round 65 at the Saticoy Club put Hall 2 strokes behind Ewart Shadoff in a tie for third, with the former AIG Women's Open champion pleased to see another English player win on the LPGA Tour. It's a small country, and there are only 4 or 5 of them on this tour, so having 2 winners in 2 weeks is indeed very special. The previous week, Hall was on hand to celebrate the first English victory, standing on the final green to see Hall join her as a 2-time LPGA Tour winner. Europe will be aiming for a 3rd consecutive Solheim Cup victory in Spain next September, while 3-time LPGA Tour winner Trish Johnson believes Hall will want to produce a different kind of three-peat for the English contingent. Now, what exactly happened this past week in golf? Many notable players returned to the winner's circle during the week that was in professional golf. Keegan Bradley won the Zozo Championship in Japan, ending a 4-year PGA Tour drought. Brooks Koepka won his first tournament in 20 months by winning Live Golf's first event in Saudi Arabia, which was worth $4.5 million. And Fred Couples outperformed his age by 3 shots in the final round of the SAS Championship on Sunday, carding a 12 under 60 with 12 birdies in his final 14 holes to win on the Champions Tour for the first time in more than 5 years. Who was the week's biggest winner? If you believe what 6-time major champion Phil Mickelson said in Saudi Arabia this week, Live Golf is the way to go. Going forward, you must choose which side you believe will be successful. Mickelson stated to reporters that he was confident he was on the winning side of how things will evolve and shape in professional golf in the coming years. Of course, PGA Tour players are not convinced that they are on the wrong side of the ongoing dispute with Live Golf, but that's a whole story within itself. The Live Golf and PGA Tour rivalry has been around for a long time, folks. Now, while Live Golf takes a break before its season-ending team event in Miami later this month, the LPGA will begin its 2-event Asian swing in South Korea with the BMW Ladies Championship. Let's wrap up this conversation by seeing what's next on the LPGA Tour. Watch out for the 3 major storylines, folks. Minjee Lee of Australia appeared to have wrapped up the Rolex Player of the Year award after winning the US Women's Open and tying for second at the Women's PGA Championship. However, Lee's WD and consecutive missed cuts allowed 3 other players to re-enter the race. Also, Ko is back. Jin Young Ko, the defending BMW Ladies Championship winner and #1 in the Rolex Women's World Golf Rankings, is expected to make her first start since late August. Because of a nagging left wrist injury, Ko hasn't played since the CP Women's Open, where she missed her 2nd straight cut for the first time in her LPGA career. This is the same injury that plagued her last season. Ko's only win this season came in early March at the HSBC Women's World Championship in Singapore. Lastly, it's time for Choi's farewell. Na-Yeon Choi of South Korea will compete on the LPGA Tour for the final time this week. On October 5th, she announced her retirement. Choi, 34, won 9 LPGA tournaments, including the 2012 US Women's Open in Kohler, Wisconsin. We wish you the best in the future, Choi. That's a wrap. Let us know in the comments below what you think of Jodi's win. Hit like and click that subscribe button, and we will be back with another video. Bye.